Okay, so we're starting this video with just a couple of the examples of the printouts. And so either you've grabbed some printouts from the drawer in the Design Fundamentals storage room in between the two classrooms. If this is being watched in November 2020. So you can do that, or I've provided ones to be printed out in our unit. So you can find that folder and print out some images. Most of them are actually from photographs, which is preferable. And the photographs are printed out by 8.5 by 11. And you need to then trim down those photographs so they're 8 by 8. So I've done that with these two. You can see they're trimmed down. Okay, so the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to actually take a pencil and you're going to turn this printout over and you're going to scribble all over the back of it. And you can see this person scribbled on this half. And you're just getting graphite, sort of dirtying it. The only reason that only this part was done is that you're going to be actually transferring this image using the graphite. And so there's really no need to transfer anything in here because there's no details. So you're scribbling all over the back of it, getting that nice and dirty. I happen to have a really big, thick graphite stick that I use, but a regular pencil is just fine for that. So I'm going to get it all scribbled all over the back. You're going to really cover it. So just pretend that this is really nice and covered, right? I'm just going to do it like that for now. So then you're going to take one of your pieces of paper. So this was from the complementary color scheme I chose. So I chose an orange and a blue piece of paper for this particular composition. So cut that down also 8 by 8. And then I'm going to put this right on top with the graphite facing down, right? So then I'm going to just make sure that this is taped on one end so it's hinged, meaning you want to be able to kind of go like this without having it slide around too much. I actually like to put a little piece of tape in 2 little spots so that it doesn't move at all. That way you can be really consistent with your transfer. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to be tracing the empty spaces around the skeleton. You are not going to be doing any details that are on the skeleton itself, none of that. You're just looking at the empty spaces. So in a way, perceptually, right, you're not looking at a skeleton. You are looking at empty spaces, which are negative shapes, around the skeleton. Okay, so this is something that, if this were a drawing class, this would also be something that we talk about as a perceptual issue. So this is the first shape I'm going to look at, right? So you're going to outline, and it can be good to have actually a ballpoint pen for this. And you can sort of see this one has already been outlined a little bit. Hopefully I have enough graphite on this to give you at least the point of what this is. You're going to outline this negative shape, right? Next negative shape I'm looking at is right in here. And so on, all of those shapes. You're also going to look at this empty space here. So you're going to make sure to go all along that line as well. Now I didn't do a great job. Oh, I guess I did okay. So as you can start to see, you're starting to get these shapes transferred. And so you will wind up with a nice series of negative shapes that you will then cut out. Okay? I happen to have only a piece of paper that's been used before, so there's some writing there, but basically you're looking at these negative shapes being transferred onto that. So there's a number of images in the unit that you can see too of this particular process in progress. The next thing that you're going to do is, once you have your image transferred, is you're going to take your X-Acto knife, and you want to use something underneath so that you're not cutting directly on a surface. I tend to use the back. I would use the back of your Bristol paper, and then you're going to carefully cut out the negative shapes, right? This whole thing right here is a negative shape, and you're going to put those shapes off to the side. So what you'll wind up with is something like a positive shape, which will be the skeleton itself. And you'll actually wind up with all of these little empty shapes as well, which you can put to the side and use. So once you have that, you're going to then glue down that positive shape onto your background. So in this case, it's an analogous or a monochromatic color scheme, probably more like monochromatic. It's kind of ambiguous, but dark green with white added to it is a light green. So in this case, the positive form is glued onto the background, right? In this particular case right here, you have to have an example of each. In this one, the negative shapes have been glued down, right, to reveal the positive. And this is sort of the shoulder and neck part of the skeleton, which is tricky to tell, but so for one of your compositions, you're gluing down the negative shapes. For the other composition, you're gluing down the positive shapes, right?